We are live. Welcome to the RG DFS Tournament Takes Podcast, Week 9 edition. I'm your host, Chris Kirkwood, screen name Kirk D's, here with my regular crew, Bobby Gomes at Bobby Gomes DFS and JSU Reb at JSU Reb. My Twitter handle is at Kirk D's. Anyways, we're here for Week 9. Week 8 was finally good for me. We won't even go there. We won't even talk about a 2v2.
No, I want you to go there. I want you to go there.
I won't even talk about that.
Just talk about it. Just talk about it. I'm prepared. I have rebuttals that I have to get out there.
A rebuttal? What could you possibly rebut?
Every reason for you being upset for sending me that lineup. You made your own decision to play what it was. You shouldn't have gone with what I said. That's your decision at the end of the day. And you're a good enough DFS player to make that decision on your own.
Yeah. I asked the 2v2 question when I'll never ask you again. That's for damn sure. And,
you don't
and
have
if
to
you
ask
just
me
chose
again.
if you just chose the other one, I would have had 90K more.
10K anyways. It won you 10K. So you're acting like you didn't even win cash. You won 10K. So there's no excuses for you being upset at all.
It was a 90K decision.
I was on I was in my car. You shouldn't. Well, you wanted to play the first lineup. You got to play that fucking lineup.
I did. I left it in everything. I just changed the one lineup. Anyways, that's what happened.
They were both good lineups. They were both.
Gentlemen.
All right, step in, JSU.
I will be the middleman in this. Bobby got sent. This is what happened. I'll explain it because Kirky's told me what happened, so I know the gist of the story.
Let's see if he told you exactly what happened. I want to know.
I told him exactly. Of course I did.
This is what happened. Forget about lineups. Kirky's was going between a 2v2 pretty much.
Tinkering with I had one main lineup the whole night, the whole morning, everything. And then I started tinkering right before lock with another version.
Relax, I got it. So The 2v2 pretty much, but he had one team he had, and then he started tinkering. So he asked Bob, a lot of people do this. They'll ask their friend, hey, what do you think between this lineup? Which one? He says he likes B, lineup 2.
I liked both.
Which was the lineup that Kirk had been tinkering with, right? It wasn't the lineup that Kirk always had. Now, I always abide by the rule of you always stick with the first one you made when you're going between two. That's always how I do it. But Bobby said he liked B. Fine. Then Kirkwood plays B. The A lineup would have won him 100K. And then Bob said something to him about how he almost played the A lineup. The one
but I didn't play it because
and I'm like, in what world is that okay? That you recommend B? Wait, let me talk here. Let me talk here, and you'll get your chance. Let me talk. You'll get your chance.
Okay.
So in what world? Okay, so you recommended B, but then you were going to play my A and something else, and you told me that would be okay. Stop. You'll get your rebuttal.
I was going to play in the same tournament.
You'll get your rebuttal, and I'm like, what world is that okay? Imagine me playing B, and all of a sudden I'm pissed off about it, and Bobby's sitting there in first or in third. It would have got third for 100K with my lineup that I sent and puts it in. I've been in the game long enough to know if I'm not going to talk to you about it, I don't know what you played. I'd obviously ask you. I'd ask you. So that's why I didn't play it. It was just something I was like, oh well, it's actually pretty good. I don't know. You said you almost played it.
I said I almost played it, but I didn't play it because I didn't contact you and be like, I didn't know what you played.
This is true though.
What I was going to say was we both play one of them. That's what I meant when I said I didn't have time to text you.
He's saying he would have asked you, Kirk. So in the end, it's
ask me and don't, dude. I fucking always ask. I would never.
That's so, but just as long as I'm just saying, if there would have
completely
my world
to ask,
I probably would have died of a heart attack if I saw you in fucking third place with my lineup and you recommended the number one.
No, I get it, but that isn't. I know, I get it. Yeah.
Do we need to start recording over, or do we leave this?
No, this is good. This is good banter. I like this.
This is great right here. Bob almost stole your lineup and won $100K with it. It's amazing.
I was never going to play his lineup.
So you want to know, and here's the thing. So my lineup was great. And you know what? We did our tournament
Both
take
lineups
show.
were very good.
We did our tournament take show on Saturday morning, and I told every single play on that show, on the Grinders live show that we do on the Sunday morning. I was like, I just, I'm playing the chalk. I'm playing the 2 at double stack. I'm not getting away from it because I don't like any other game. I'm playing Dante Foreman because I think he's going to be the one. He's not getting enough love out of these running backs. I'm obviously playing Pollard, and then I was like, I need a cheapie, and I'm probably going to go Garrett Wilson. And Garrett, that was the key.
Another thing you said too that was really important to that lineup was not to run it back with the Detroit Lions, which everyone.
No, I did run it back with Amon-Ra, just not 2.
Yeah, well, I feel like one of them you didn't though. Was the one with the 100?
No, they both had Amon-Ra. They both had Amon-Ra, he was disappointing, but it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry I didn't choose the wrong one.
Are we done?
The right one.
So I will say this. I am proud of both of you because today, instead of coming on sorry, talking about how your lives are shit right now because you got a kid and you're just miserable all the time, you actually had some good banter to go across. I enjoyed it. I got a laugh out of it. I didn't have to listen to how miserable you guys' lives are right now. It was great. Congratulations. You're not as miserable as I thought you were. This is great. I'm on with 2 not miserable fucks anymore.
What a great day for you.
Turkey has no reason to be miserable. He's
Buffalo chicken sub. Buffalo chicken sub, and you got the laugh in here, and it's a good day for Jason. And you got NBA. You're sweating. You got NBA sweats going right now.
I got NBA sweats going. I got a buff chick sub that I ate today. It was delicious. I mean, what a good day. Now let's talk some football.
Yes, let's talk some football. We don't need to recap. Do you guys want to talk about how you did, or you want to just go right into week 1?
No, that was the recap. We just did it.
That was the recap. All right, so we got 10 games. We've got no 50-point totals. We've got a couple of 49.5 totals. The Chargers -3 at Atlanta. The Chargers are missing Keenan Allen. They're also missing Mike Williams. So they're decimated here from an offensive weapon standpoint. They still have Eckler, obviously. And then we'll talk some of the other options through. But then we also have Green Bay Packers, who've been just looking terrible every single week. But they're finally get the get right spot, right? -3.5 points going to the Dome in Detroit, where, which is kind of like the Coors Field, I guess, of NFL now. It's no longer New Orleans that it used to be all those years. 49.5 point total there. Seattle also with a 49-point total at Arizona. This is a rematch of that game that I tilted so hard because I had the nuts going with it with a game stack of that game. But it's different. It's a different game this time because, well, Seattle's defense has been doing better and better, but the main thing is the Arizona offense with DeAndre Hopkins back is a different beast than without. Then below that, we've got the Raiders -2 at Jacksonville. We got Buffalo. Obviously, Josh Allen is always always in play here at -11.5 points at the Jets with a 46 total. Miami -4 at Chicago with a 45.5 point total. And then there's just a bunch of games below that. But big picture, how's this slate looking to you guys? JSU, take it away.
Yeah, this slate to me, I mean, we've got a bunch of games. I think it's actually for the first time in a few weeks, there's I think more than just like 2 games that like everyone's going to attack. There's a few different games that I think have plays in it that it might spread out some ownership from a game-to-game perspective, which is good. Like last week, we had the Miami-Detroit game, which I think everyone and their mother were on, and it was a great game. Like there was no reason not to play that game. Now, Bob talked about how like maybe you didn't want to be as heavy on the Detroit side, obviously, at the end of the day. But the Miami side crushed. Like outside of Raheem Mostert, the other guys you would have played for Miami, they all friggin' smashed. And if you played those guys, you were very happy. Even if you ended up playing one Detroit guy on the bring back, but you had those other 3 Miami guys, you were still super happy with the outcome of that. So I like this slate. I think there's many different paths to go. I think QB is going to be really interesting when we get into it, because I really only see like three or four viable options, at least in my head, when I look at this slate. And it should be a good one though overall.
What about you, Bobby?
Yeah, so because we have the options of other games to kind of attack, I don't think the chalk's going to hit as hard as it's hit in October. Pretty much, I feel like you've been getting buried by chalky slates so far. So I feel like the optionality will allow us to get different. Still have to play some chalk because still think some of these guys are mispriced, but there's optionality and ways to get different that you can kind of attack on the slate. So ready to get into it.
All right. So what we'll do our usual format where we will start it off with running backs. Then we'll take it over to QB. Then pair that with the wide receivers. Leave it with tight end. And then we'll get to the Bobby Gomes DFS defensive segment. That I'm just gonna be honest. A lot of people were complaining. They're saying that you let them down last week. I saw a couple tweets with that mentioned. And,
I saw the mentions too. Yep.
So I hope you're prepared, you studied, and you're ready to help the people. Or else JSU JSU is right on your tail. He might have a couple of plays up.
Might have to take over. I don't know. I might have to take the segment over. Don't make me do it.
Okay, so like last week, we've got some chalk. We've got some really good plays, and some chalky running backs to discuss. It's not quite to the same extent. The spots like Tony Pollard was just like a ridiculous play. We've got Travis Etienne, right? Took over the backfield with no James Robinson anymore. Gets a spot with the Las Vegas Raiders, who just looked awful. They're 18th in DVOA versus the run, but they just got absolutely smashed by Alvin Kamara last week, which was tilting because I didn't play Kamara. But the most tilting thing of last week's slate, by the way, the DJ Moore touchdown at the end of the game, 37% owned DJ Moore cost me about $35,000. That
was that at the end of the game or at the end of the game?
No, it was the end of the game.
End of the game.
Yeah, it was the last play of the game.
Yikes.
And of all people, Walker to throw the Hail Mary, and just terrible coverage. But
I don't know why they slowed down. Like there was 2 of them. They both did the same thing. It's like, why would both of you slow down with him? Like, why wouldn't one of you stay back?
There's literally one receiver. It should have been their entire team around DJ Moore. There's literally one
I'm just
receiver.
saying, though, there was no reason for both those guys to just stand next to him. And then he just started running again. It's like, oh, crap, we got to run now, too. You guys are – that's terrible.
You can't get beat long on a Hail Mary. That's the whole point is to have it in front of you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I didn't play him either, Kirkwood, so it was tilting for me too. Just because
I had
it went from DJ
nuts.
Moore. Well, it went from DJ Moore being just a fine play, where if you had him, you were fine with it, and if you didn't have him, you weren't dead. To you being shit, I don't have DJ Moore. I'm screwed.
Oh, but he was borderline bust before that. For the most of the game,
he had 16, right?
He was fine, but it just. That play was just ridiculous. That just, and it was literally the last play. So it just came out of nowhere. Anyway, that's NFL. But where was I saying? So Travis Etienne. So 80% of the snaps the last 2 weeks, full bell cow, averaging 21 touches, 140.5 yards the last 2 games. The guy passes every eye test. He just looks explosive, looks good. Gashed in Las Vegas has been gashed in the passing game. They're awful against the pass, but because he's very, he's used heavily in the passing game. So Etienne, this is a good spot for him. He's gotten 93 of the red zone opportunities in that span. He's also averaging 6.2 yards per carry. So I've got nothing bad to say. about him. It's just that he's going to be chalky, but I think he's earned that. Other than that, the next one that I'm looking at here is Aaron Jones against Detroit, right? Like you saw, I don't know if it was just like strictly a game plan against Buffalo, which was the dumbest thing ever. Would control the clock, they kept saying when they're down 17 points. Green Bay is just going to control the clock. Like, was that not the dumbest thing you've ever heard?
Quarter in the fourth quarter, and they're like, yeah, they're just trying to keep the ball away from Josh Allen. I'm like, yeah, that's
down 17.
It's down 17.
Just crazy. But the one thing is that's what they've had success this season is running Aaron Jones. Maybe Bobby will get his wish and it'll be a Dylan week. I bet you you're sniffing that. But anyway, this is a great matchup. Detroit's 30th DVOA versus Ron. They also get shellacked in the passing game. Lions allow the 4th most fantasy points per game to running backs. Aaron Jones has been heating up the last 2 games. He's averaged over 70% of the snaps the last 2 games. So, like, even though that's the timeshare, he's still getting elite usage. And Detroit's 30th in rushing yards allowed. So Aaron Jones looks like a phenomenal play. And then we can talk about maybe Josh Jacobs. We can talk about Ramondre Stevenson. We can talk about Mixon, Foreman, Austin Eckler. I don't know who you guys are going to prefer, but who are you liking, Bobby?
Yeah, so you hit on ETN. Like, I feel like you just play ETN at this point. Aaron Jones seen so much work. Like, them just running that pitch play. I feel like they'll go back to that versus Detroit. I think he'll probably be fine to play. Usually I try to fade Aaron Jones in these spots, but I don't know. I think I'm going to probably be on him. Deion Jackson, like, are we like his ownership? I'm seeing it kind of low. I feel like it'll kind of get steamed up by Sunday. I know the Pats are good against the run, but I like him at 5,200. Deontay Foreman is really good props at 6K. I don't mind him. Kenneth Walker, same thing. Mixon's cheap. I just for whatever reason, like, I just can't roster Mixon. And I think Eckler is the spend up at running back. I think he's the guy you want to go to. He has the best ceiling. So that's pretty much the running back position for me.
Yeah, I like Neon.
Wait, what did you say about Mixon? Did you like Mixon?
No, I don't like Mixon. The receivers, like Boyd has good props. Higgins, I don't know. I think I'd prefer the passing game.
Yeah, I like Neon Deion Jackson too. I had him written down. He was the next guy I was going to say. But JSU, what are you thinking?
Yeah, running back. I mean, these guys have been smashing, especially the guys like the highly projected, highly owned guys. The last few weeks have just absolutely crushed. Not just like Tony Pollard too, but like a bunch of them, right? Like
except
Alvin Kamara. We had a few busts like
Josh Jacobs,
yeah, Kenneth Walker bust, Josh Jacobs bust. There was a few, but like for the most part, a lot of these guys just have been crushing. Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler a few weeks ago, like a bunch of them. So I think Travis Etienne is probably the best play. I mean, we just watched the Saints just do whatever they wanted to against this Las Vegas Raiders team. I mean, they just got pumped. They got owned by the Saints. The Saints have fought with like every other team they've played, and they just dominated this Raiders team. I think Jacksonville, like these Jacksonville plays are good plays. I think you got to pick and choose your spots with them though, because I think they're gonna Travis Etienne's gonna be chalky. Their wide receivers, at least one of them will be chalky. We'll get to. I think the tight end will have ownership. Like there's gonna be a lot of ownership in Jacksonville side, so you just got to pick and choose your spots. But I do think Etienne is the best play. The guy I don't like that's projecting as of right now as a good play and projecting to be, over 20% right now, I'm looking at is Joe Mixon. Like Joe Mixon has been awful. He has a terrible offensive line. They literally can't do anything. And they lose their best playmaker on top of it. They lose 2 of their corners. This Bengals team is in trouble. And I do not like the Joe Mixon play. Even at 6,500, I would way rather play Ramondre or Travis Etienne over Joe Mixon at that exact similar price range if I had to pick two. I think Joe Mixon's definitely a fade for me. I'm probably going to fade Josh Jacobs too, who looks like he's projected to be up there. Deion Jackson, I don't mind. Like you said, Kirky, I think he's fine. Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, I think are both good spend ups. It'll kind of just depend where my builds lead me. I'm trying to look and see if there's any other running backs that aren't going to be owned.
There's no way I'm not playing Dante Foreman again.
He has a really good rush prop. I think he's
he's been crushing too.
I mean, he was the key last week, and so I owe the guy. But and it's Hubbard's out again, and like the thing with him is he used to be a pass catching back. He even though he's like a big back, but so there's still room for that side with him, but like he's been a beast running. The Carolina line has been holding up, and and he's going to get lost in the shuffle again because he's kind of gone up in price. I'll tell you another guy who's going to be lost in the shuffle that no one's going to want to play is because they all busted because he was the sexy leverage play of last week was Raheem Mostert. Another great matchup against the Bears. Certainly this game could get out of control. The Bears could, they could be put in a position where they don't score, where their offense is bad, and that would be good for Mostert. I always prefer the passing game of Miami because I think that's their identity. But going into last week, because after the game that Mostert had the week before, he was the darling last week that busted. So it just makes sense to go back and get, he'll be lower owned than where. So if let's say he scored 20 fantasy points last week, everybody would be touting him at this point right now. But he's just going to be lost. I don't know who else really.
I think Dalvin Cook's price tag, just because of where he's at 7-8. Like
he's looked really good.
He's looked good, and his carries came up last week. Washington's not the greatest first to run, so if you want to go differentiate, kind of flip the construction a little and get up to Cook, I wouldn't hate that if I see people roll that out in tournaments.
Let me ask you: Are you going to play some AJ Dillon?
I think if there's ever a week for AJ Dillon, wouldn't this be the week versus the Lions? I guess.
Yeah.
I did like where your head went. I was thinking the same thing. Kind of, if everyone's going to play Jones, just play Dillon. Jones just looked like he's the guy on prime time.
Deion Jackson's 5K on FanDuel.
He's 5'2" on DK. We just hit on him.
Ooh, I didn't even notice he was that low.
He's got to be I want to be significantly over if he's going to be 12% or less.
Let's see.
I think I wish Jamal Williams' price tag was a little lower too, because DeAndre Swift, you don't know what they're going to run him out for. You get a good matchup against his old team, the Packers. I mean, in his home,
I'm kind of with you. They gave out a mixed report on Swift, right? He's limited on how much he's going to play.
Well, I think the writing was on the wall. It looked everyone wanted to play Swift last week, but it's obvious that there's going to be.
That was my worst call of the slate.
But what I'm saying is
that I played crushed except for him. He was by far the worst play in that range. Got killed by multiple backs.
Only 5 rushing attempts, which is only 5 rushing attempts, which is crazy. So they're obviously babying him. And probably going to continue because of.
But if that's the case, sit him out.
That's probably good.
He's healthy.
Sit him. Doesn't make any sense.
I think he's basically the passing down back.
He was always losing carries to Williams even prior to the injury. So
do you think if they're up Kirkwood, they're more apt to use Williams? Is that what you're saying?
I think so. And they were up for most of that game too. They pulled away with a big lead, and then Miami came scorching back. And so I think it was a combination of babying him and also just game script. And Williams was playing great.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest, but
It would be nice to use one of them versus this Green Bay rush defense.
I might have a little Jamal Williams just because I just don't like the way they use Swift. Like it seems to me like they're still worried about him a little bit. Like,
yeah. And then Ramondre, not on FanDuel, but he's 8K on FanDuel. But if Damian Harris, because he's been sick all week, they haven't said if it's flu or COVID or any, I don't know. But and I always assume that these guys play, but like maybe he's limited, maybe he's like drained, like obvious, who looked off, like Devontae Adams looked awful. I mean, the whole team did, but like I think the sickness had something to do with last week. So maybe it just either you get the upside if Harris is out, Ramondre should smash, and they do have an offensive line mismatch. But even if Harris plays, he might be somewhat limited because Ramondre he's cooking. Like he's the guy. You know what I mean? He's the one you want as just like a Pats fan. Like he's just so much better.
He seems like he's pretty much taken over the role, right? Like he's game script.
Yeah, even when Harris has been in the last week or two, it has seemed like it's been Stevenson's backfield.
It's tough to say that with Patriots backs usually, so I don't want to.
He did lose some work last week, but if you calculate it out, he still got 73% of the workload. He had 24 touches. I mean, that's great. Like that's all you need. He had a 25% target share last week. He's obviously the one they're using the passing game too. So, Indy has allowed the 8th most fantasy points per game to running backs. So, yeah, I mean, I like Ramondre. I'm kind of hoping that people kind of just forget. Like what's the best case scenario with him?
That he just becomes the guy, which he's
his ownership's going to shoot up if Harris gets announced out.
I think you're playing him regardless. Like why are you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if Harris is in, I think he's going to be less owned, and I'm thinking that it really doesn't matter. So that might be the best case scenario.
I'd probably rather Harris in if you think he's going to come in lower owned. I'm still playing him regardless.
All right, where'd this idiot go?
I'm right here. I was just getting a drink.
What are you getting? What are you drinking?
A water. I need some water.
We need you drunk on this show. You need to be fucked up.
No, definitely not.
We liked you after that golf outing you had.
All right. Is that enough for running back? Unless you guys have any other
I don't think there are any I think running back is very cut and dry. And what you were saying about Stevenson, I think you're talking 5, maybe 10% Kirkwood. I think he's still going to be popular either way. Stevenson, I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
but it's going to shoot. But he's going to be if he's going to shoot up if Harris is out.
I mean, ETN has to be the best player, right? Just overall.
On DraftKings, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean on DraftKings, but. Yeah, I don't really see much else unless you guys do. I mean, Miami's got Jeff Wilson now. I think that means they have a clear backup who they'll actually use. I'm not saying they'll split the touches, but
I forgot.
Let's be honest. Miami is a team. I think they expect to be in the playoffs, and I think they want someone that they trust backing up Mostert, not just because of health reasons, but more I think they want a more even split between them, trying to keep him fresh for the playoffs. So I think that's why they made this trade. I don't think they felt confident in Chase Edmonds doing it. So they go get a guy who's been in McDaniel's system before and who knows it. And it's clear that he prefers those guys, right? He obviously everyone thought Edmonds was going to be a bigger role than he was this year. And he clearly went with the guy who knew his system the best. And that was
they're just trying to rebuild San Francisco with even more electric weapons.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
And they look good.
The defense is a little behind. I'll say that. But.
Yeah, but they've also been injured a little bit. But yeah, I agree. All right, let's take it on over to quarterback, which is kind of a gross pool this week, I would say. We've got Josh Allen. Everyone's going to love Josh Allen. What can you say bad about Josh Allen? Not much, except that he's expensive. You could say in the Jets, he's playing the Jets, but you could say this is a bad matchup. Eighth DVOA versus the pass. Sauce Gardner looking great. Could potentially lock down like a Steph Diggs. But then again, these guys are matchup proof, right? Like Allen and Diggs typically. So, Allen's third in passing yards with one less game than most of the other people. Second in passing TDs, fourth in rushing yards, sixth in rushing attempts, fourth in red zone carries. But the Jets have been a somewhat tough matchup for quarterbacks. And Allen's coming off of his worst performance, where everyone's been banking on these 30-point games. He put up 19 against Green Bay. They didn't really have to do much, Green Bay. And a lot of that was just Green Bay milking the clock for no apparent reason. Just stupid coaching. But anyways, he's the top one. Then there's Aaron Rodgers, who's been horrible this season. Hasn't done anything. I mean, he's been a consistent 15 points, right? Like he's been like, if you need 17 points, he'll get you 17 points. If you need 30 points, he's going to get you 17 points this year. And that's never been Aaron Rodgers. But it's Detroit. It's the best possible matchup they can get. So 32nd in DVOA versus the pass. Detroit's third in fantasy points per game allowed to QBs. He's had a bad season, but he still ranks 7th in Pro Football Focus's passing grade, which basically it just shows me he can still throw an accurate ball. His weapons have all been hurt. The team hasn't doing well at all. But so this is the get right spot. But I still think that it's probably going to be the Aaron Jones spot. So I would rather play that. But then it's like, who do we have below that? I know who I have, and I'm playing this week, and you guys could probably guess it pretty easily. If you had to guess who's going to be my favorite QB this week?
It's going to be Geno.
Nope.
How can you not go back to G? I don't know.
Who's your favorite quarterback on this slate? I'm going to say it's Justin Fields.
No.
Trevor Lawrence.
It's Kyler. I love Kyler. I always love
Kyler.
No,
you don't want to play Kyler on this.
Of course I do.
I'm with them on Kyler.
So first of all,
Bobby, you literally love Kyler. You play him every.
I've played him too much. I feel like
I always play me too. But you know what? It's great now. Hopkins is back. Hopkins is back. He just caught 29.
It's not great. Let's not.
Hold on. I'll stop you there. So I do think the Cardinals win.
Just came out too, mind you.
Yeah. Okay.
The new one.
I do think the Cardinals win this game. I'm on the Cardinal side from that standpoint. But Kyler, because Hop is back, just play Hop.
That's all they need. That's all they need.
There's better options than Kyler flipping Murray. What do you mean quarterback is awful?
It's awful. There's not outside
week 6 in this same matchup when everybody busted, when he busted, he would have had a good game if Seattle did anything in that game. But he didn't. He ran for 10 attempts for 100 rushing yards in that game. Now he's got Hopkins back. He's coming off a 30-point fantasy game against Minnesota. It's just he's completely different. They average 8 points. Whenever they have Hopkins or don't have Hopkins, they average 8 more real points. And so, people don't want to play him. Everyone's lost it with him. He's kind of hovering. It's a tough week for quarterback. There aren't a lot of elite options. There's Justin Herbert still. There's Joe Burrow, of course.
They're both missing their top guys. Both Chase and Keenan are still out. I get their good plays on the slate in the context of the slate, but they're both missing their. Kyler's got his guy back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and then so what? My only other one is that I thought you guys would have guessed would be Trevor Lawrence, but he's been dead to me for a couple of weeks. But
I guessed Lawrence. Lawrence.
Yeah. No, you guessed Geno. You said.
And then I guessed.
Then you said Lawrence. He cheated. He guessed twice.
I guessed twice. Yeah, I did guess twice.
But yeah, so Kyler I like personally, but what are you guys thinking?
Let JSU go.
Bobby, you're not ready yet. You need this.
No, I just
he's looking. He's trying to pick a defense. He's trying to get ready for.
I am trying to do that too. I gotta get a D.
All right. Yeah, I'm definitely not playing Kyler Murray. I'll just play D-Hop if I want some exposure. I think that Well, one, I'm not playing Aaron Rodgers. Like, Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing on this slate. Like, come on, people. Just because he's got the Lions, give me the damn running backs. Give me take a pass catcher if you want one, but I am not playing Aaron. Dude hasn't cracked 20 once this year. Like, how are we playing this guy? Like,
you're getting too cute trying to play A-Rod in this situation.
I get that quarterback isn't good, but it's not that bad, right, Bob? Like, is quarterback that bad where people are actually putting?
I think it's bad. I think it's bad, but I think you can. It's like you don't have to play Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't have
what.
Like, good luck.
What it is,
so
what it is, it comes down to this. It's the reason why everyone wants to play him. It's the cheapest he's ever been in like the best possible matchup in a dome. So it's like, I get it, but like I'm with you. Like I'd rather just play Aaron Jones.
So okay, but why don't we just play Justin Fields at 5,300? The guy has rushing upside. The offense has looked way better the last 2 weeks, like way better. I mean, it's not even close. They're finally getting him. The running backs look good right now. They're finally getting him some more help with trading for obviously Chase Claypool, which I don't know how much that's going to affect, this week, but moving forward, I think it'll help him out because at least Claypool can make big plays, and they needed someone. I mean, you can't have friggin' Equiminius St. Brown and Dante Pettis and N'Keal Harry as your 2, 3, and 4 receivers, and Darnell Mooney, who's shown up like maybe twice this year. Like,
yeah, but he
needed someone else.
He will be good now. They needed to give another weapon. Yeah, another.
Exactly. I mean, Cole Kmet can't catch balls. Like I think he finally caught a touchdown.
He got a touchdown
this week. But in the end, it is funny though. They could have drafted Chase Claypool, but instead drafted Cole Kmet. Did you guys know that?
I did not.
That draft. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on it 100%. I'm pretty sure I heard that though, that they could have drafted him instead. But either way, I think Justin Fields at 5,300 against Miami. I trust Miami to score. I trust Miami to put points up on the board. Chicago just traded 2 of their better defensive weapons in Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn. So their defense, I think, takes another hit. And Justin Fields is at home. I think this is a great spot, and I love this game. I think this game is really good. I think this game could have shootout potential in it. Either way, though, I trust Miami's offense a ton. So,
and it's so great that there's really it's like all it's the easiest double in the world. It's Tyreek and Waddle, or you play one of them. But
exactly. Yeah. You don't have to double, but if you want to, it's easy. You know where the production's coming from Miami. There's Mostert, there's Tyreek, there's Waddle. Tua. Like, play one of those guys or 2 of those guys, and then you can play Justin Fields if you don't play Tua and play one of his weapons, and that's it. Like, you don't have to double stack Fields, and you get all the rushing upside too. So the guy I wish I could have played in the running back spot is Khalil Herbert. Do you guys see what's been happening? You guys see it slowly started with Mr. Herbert. He got 27% of the snaps and 16 touches in those 27% of snaps. That's like a 70-something% like rush to snap share rate. Ridiculous. This kid is getting more and more every week. They're going to use him more. Eventually, he will overtake Kirky's boy Montgomery.
Yeah, I was going to say I will not accept Montgomery slander on this show.
I know you won't, but I'll give it anyways. Khalil is better. I'll just keep saying it.
He is better.
But
he is better.
Other quarterbacks that I think we can play outside of Fields, I think you can always play Josh Allen. That's just a given if you want to play Josh Allen. Not breaking any ground with that. I think Justin Herbert, from the standpoint that all of his weapons are super cheap, he gets a really good matchup against Atlanta in Atlanta with I think their top cornerback still out, AJ Terrell. So that would be a boost if he is out. And I just like that I can double stack and know who I'm stacking, and they're cheap. Like, you got Palmer. Carter's I think he's got an illness, so he's questionable. I'm pretty sure they used this Michael Bandy kid a little bit. He got 6 targets. He's 3,500. And then you got Gerald Everett and Austin Eckler. I mean, these outside of Eckler, everyone else is cheap. Double stack Herbert. You don't even have to bring it. That's the other thing too with this stack. I don't even know if I like a bring back. Like, you don't have to bring it back. You can, like, you could play Tyler Algier at running back. It is a good.
They're getting
matchup.
Patterson back though. I think
they are getting him back.
Yep.
So I don't think you have to run it back. Is the point though?
I think we've come to the conclusion that we don't have to run back. Like, you can run stuff back, but like at the rate that the industry
like
does,
at all, right, Bobby?
you don't have to run back. Yeah. You don't have to run stuff back as much as
you just got to pick the players who score the most points. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like that you can easily double stack with him. So those two guys, and I think Trevor Lawrence, I wish I could trust him more, but I do think that he's interesting from the standpoint his options are all cheap, easy double stack with Trevor Lawrence, and you don't have to bring it back with any Raiders. Like all
right, here's
really
my
like
take too. Here's my take with that. Is that it's a really good spot for him because like he's been horrible like for several weeks now. Like even if he like had decent fantasy games, he hasn't looked great in some of those games. But if he pops off for a good game and is more accurate and doesn't miss stupid throws like he's been doing, not only is he's the cheapest he's ever been, right? Like he's 5,200. He's in a really strong matchup against the Raiders who can't stop anybody, right? He's at home. But the thing is, he was always James Robinson was out there taking away production, but now he's got his back is actually electric in the passing game, right? So like that's just helps his passing, overall weapons. Still has Zay Jones, that's a revenge game for Zay Jones. We should.
I think he makes sense too if you're fading ETN, right, Kirkwood? Because you're kind of hoping that the production gets.
Do we want to be fading ETN the way these?
I think you can. He does, but you can also play them both.
Well, you could play him with him. I'm just saying, like, if you choose to fade ETN, I think it's interesting. It makes sense. You know what I mean? Because then you can kind of root on points just there. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I think that's a good strategy.
I mean, it's definitely leverage, but it could work out. Like I would be fine putting him in a double stack too, especially with how cheap his receiving options are. Like Christian Kirk is way down. I think he's like 5,000 or something. What is he?
Yeah, he's 5,500.
Bobby,
what were you doing there? Were you stretching?
I'm trying to get a stretch. I was going to ask you if I was doing it correctly. I haven't stretched.
I don't know what you were doing. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what that was. Like I'm
going to have to come to you. You can stretch me out.
What was that? Like, what are you stretching out? Were you stretching out your neck, your shoulder?
I have my neck and my shoulder. It's really tight.
So easy one for your neck. I'll just give you guys one right here. So you put your hand behind your back. You take your other hand. Right? You grab your wrist and then you tilt your ear to the opposite side and then you just look up with your eyes.
They do this in your Zumba class?
No, it's a neck stretch.
I'm going to JSU's gym at some point. I seen them.
Yeah.
My neck just cracked pretty hard, actually.
That was a good stretch, JSU.
See? The best way to use it too is actually when you're in the shower. You let the hot water hit your neck as you tilt your head. That's the best way to use it. You hold for like 5 seconds, then you let go, and then you do it again.
I can do that.
Right, enough of your shower, slapping towels, memories. Just shut up, all right?
It's not the only thing that happens in the shower.
You do the
it's not the type of show this is,
My bad.
All right. Let's we got any other we're done with
what do you I get skipped again. Holy shit.
Wait, Bobby hasn't even given a damn quarterback take. I've listed 3. Bobby's listed 0.
Just sit there, just wait for defense. Wait for defense.
I like Tua. I think Kirky made a really good case for Kyler. JSU made a really good case for the Chicago Bears. Like they took a lot of those guys, they traded a lot of those pieces away on the defense. Tua, we know the upside like the Dolphins have. We've seen it week in, week out this year. I worry with Burrow and Herbert. Like, yeah, I like them. I think they're good plays. I'll probably play them, but like you're taking Chase away. You're taking Keenan Allen and Mike Williams out of that offense. I know it condenses it, but I don't know. I get a little skeptical in situations like that, because it could also go the other way where the offense isn't as fluid. Allen, like I'm definitely playing Allen. There's no way I'm not playing Allen.
Kirk Cousins back in Washington.
He is back in Washington. I'm not playing. You can't play him. He's
I
so
can't play
he's
him,
so
but you
tilted.
know who you can play is. Oh, we haven't gotten there yet. So
Wait a minute. I like the Lawrence call too. I don't hate Trevor Lawrence. Him and Geno's kind of in that 5.8 range too that you can kind of get to versus Arizona. Both Lockett and Metcalf have really good props. All Lawrence's weapons are hitting like optimal, so for that reason, I think he's in play. I think my favorite would be Tua. Here you go. It wasn't the greatest analysis, but
all right, we should, tried to move it on.
I give it a B-, Bob.
You can be. I didn't give a lot. I didn't break it down, but just trying to get through it quickly because I was being skipped over in the first place.
I do like how you just shit on your own analysis, though. You're just like
it was
wasn't
very
good. You were just like, it's not very good. At least people will be entertained at this show. That's for sure.
Wide receiver. Well, we're also doing it at 11:30 at night here after a long day.
I think this is a great show. I think our chemistry after the first 8 weeks is really starting to. It's been good, but we're taking it to another level now.
I mean, all that shower talk by JSU just fucking.
I literally won the show. I don't know
slapping towels.
Spinning the towel. What's the name of your gym, JSU? I'm coming. What is it?
We just won the show. Literally, the show was just we could have ended it right there.
Is it a group shower at the gym?
No, it's not a group. We have a guys' locker room and a girls' locker room. What kind of business do you think I run, Bobby? It's a real gym.
You got a sauna?
Gym.
Do you have a sauna there?
No, we don't have a sauna. I got a sauna.
That's good. That's a good thing.
So the locker rooms aren't co-ed. In the city, they're co-ed.
Uh-oh. I hear a child. Who's that?
Yeah, that's my boy. That's Big D right there, Dylan.
Big D.
Big D.
All right. Wide receivers. Okay. Tyreek Hill is the number one play, right? Like just continues to get it done week in and week out. Chicago weakened defense, as JSU already alluded to. They traded away some good pieces. They're 18th in DVOA versus the pass. The only scary thing is that they're 28th in the run, but we know the identity of the Miami offense is really Tua, Hill, and Waddle, yards after the catch monsters. He's first in receiving yards. He's first in receptions. He's first in air yards, second in target percentage. He's first in Pro Football's Focus receiving grade. Everything metric he's off the charts in except for touchdowns. He's only had 2 touchdowns. He's only had 1 red zone target. I have to think that's probably going to regress, and he's going to be an even better freaking play in some of these weeks. He's just going to.
You know why he has only touchdowns, Kirkwood?
Talk to me.
You're talking about Tyreek Hill, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why. Because
Waddle.
Tua keeps underthrowing him on bombs when he's wide open and would house them.
Yeah,
twice last game. He should have had 2 touchdowns. Instead, he had to come back.
He comes back and he makes a crazy catch.
Ball, insane jump balls. That's why he doesn't have as many touchdowns. Let's be honest. With Pat Mahomes, these things would be touchdowns, easy touchdowns.
That's one reason. He's also only had 1 red zone target. So let's say the accuracy improves and he gets red zone targets, and he's already doing all of this, it'll be so far ahead of every other receiver. It'll be ridiculous. So I got nothing bad to say about him. Stephon Diggs is going to be popular because everyone's playing Josh Allen. I'm going to fade Diggs. I'm going to go with my boy Sauce Gardner to lock him down and for them to use Gabe Davis, to use McKenzie in the slot. I think this Jets defense is good. Everyone, the narrative is out there that they're better, but I still don't think that people really think it enough. And Buffalo is 11.5-point favorites, but the total in this game should tell you, that the Jets defense is somewhat of a concern. But anyway, then there's my guy D-Hop, right? These are the top end guys. versus Seattle. I already told you my love for Kyler. Obviously, if I'm playing Kyler, I'm running it back with his only weapon in DeAndre Hopkins. You could do Zach Ertz potentially, but I mean, that's not fun. But anyway, the numbers are ridiculous in his 2 games back. 37.5% target share, 57% air yard share. Arizona averages 8 points per game more when he plays. Like this, I'm on board. So those are the top end guys, and then there's guys we can talk to like DJ Moore. There's Tyler Lockett. There's Amon-Ra St. Brown without any weapons. There's Kirk, which we talked about. Justin Jefferson's on the slate. Devontae Adams bounced back. Like obviously we have no shortage of receivers again this week. So how is it looking to you, Bobby? You can start it off.
Yeah, you hit on Tyreek. I think if I had to pick between Tyreek and Diggs, they're probably my 2 favorite on the slate. I think you have to play Diggs differently. I liked how Kirby said, like going to McKenzie, going to Gabe Davis, going to Knox, like playing Allen different and just kind of maybe going under or fielding Diggs or fading him completely. Tyreek, like I'm not going to – Tua is my favorite QB. I'm definitely going to have Tyreek. I'm definitely going to have some Waddle. Hopkins, playing Kyler, so I'm playing Hopkins for the same reason Kirk is. Justin Jefferson, like Minnesota's favored. He's going to be low owned. And in games where they're favored, like JSU hit on this 4 shows ago, like it's Justin Jefferson who's getting the ball the majority of the time. He's at 8,600. I feel like he's someone you want in your player pool for that reason. Amon-Ra, like he flop lag. Amon-Ra has a ceiling. He's down at 6,600 now. I'm gonna be overweight again on Amon-Ra. I just think he's a really good play. T. Higgins has really good props. I don't know how much Burrow I'm gonna have, but I think I'd have interest in T. Higgins after he didn't really bust. He got there on a primetime slate. So I don't think anyone has like a bad taste in their mouth over T. Higgins, but I don't know. Metcalf Lockett I find interesting because I find that Arizona game interesting. Those would kind of be the guys I'd be targeting. My issue with like playing Herbert as QB is I'm going pretty far down to find like Palmer and I don't know, those other weapons. It just makes me skeptical. I think Palmer's a good play at his price tag. Like he has similar ceilings to a lot of guys in like the 6Ks that, and he's at 5,100, so he's probably fine. But I just saw I never get him correct, so I don't know. That's pretty much wide receiver for me. How about you, JSU?
Yeah, so I think there are 3 plays that are just the overall best plays at wide receiver. The first one for me, and it's not even close. I think Justin Jefferson is the clear best play on the slate at wide receiver. Like,
why, just because of his ownership, or
not just because of his ownership? I think the matchup is great. I think they beat Washington by double digits. I really like the Vikings here. That's just another winner you can pencil in. But
thanks for your Giants loser. I lost on that last week.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
It happens. We give losers every now and then. It happens. What are you gonna do? Should have tailed the Washington money line. Should have tailed that one. But yeah, so we'll get back on this. We'll get back on the horse this week, Kirkwood. We'll get some winners this week. But the other guy, I think, Joshua Palmer is just a lock. He's $5,100. Like, how is this not?
Am I wrong on Palmer? I'm wrong on him. He's a good play.
You don't think he's a good play with Keenan?
I just don't get him right, dude. Like, yeah, I see he's projecting really well.
He is $5,100,
because he's the wide receiver 1 against the Atlanta Falcons with a good decent quarterback.
He's $5,100, and they're saying he's going to be 15%. Think about this: you're getting a number 1 receiver at.
I don't think he's going to be 15%.
At 5,100, you're getting this dude at. Okay, what do you think he comes in at? 20%?
No, I think you're right. You might be right. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't get him right, dude. Like,
he's coming in at a point where it's like, how do I not play this dude? I think he is just such a good play at $5,100. And then the other top guy I'll definitely have some exposure to is just yeah, I can't not have exposure to Tyreek just because I think that game is the nuts, and he's just a freak. He's just an absolute freak, and I can't not have him the time when Tua actually hits him in stride, maybe once for a deep touchdown, and he does score like 40 with like 100+ yards and 2 touchdowns. It will tilt me if I don't play him. So those are my 3 favorite for sure. They'll all have some ownership, but like Tyreek will definitely be owned. Palmer will have ownership. Justin Jefferson, I think, will be under 10%. So yeah, those are the 3 ones I like the most. And then I'm going to play some Darnell Mooney at 4,700. He hasn't had a big game yet, but like I said, I think Justin Fields is slowly starting to get it. I think the coaching staff is putting those guys in way better positions the last few weeks to make big plays. Miami struggled on defense a little bit. I think we can attack that.
And also, I just want to point out for your Palmer love that AJ Terrell has been ruled out again. So, I mean, the writing's been on the wall. They're trying to bring in help. They've been missing Casey Hayward and AJ Terrell. So, like this, yeah, you're right. I mean, this is a wide receiver 1 in a great matchup. Yeah,
I mean, he should be higher on. Like, he should be the highest owned receiver, in my opinion, at that price tag. Like, that's insane. And DeAndre Carter's questionable. I mean, who are they going to roll out there for a receiver? This is going to be wild. Like, Justin Herbert's going to only throw to, like, Austin Eckler and Gerald Everett and Josh Palmer. Like, this stack might just be the easiest stack ever. And
Everett is such a good play.
Yeah, like tight end stinks as is. We can just lock in Everett. I mean, Donald Parham's even ruled out.
Yeah,
like, he's so you literally have so much concentrated target share to the guys that like they're the guys. I mean, Gerald Everett, Trey McKinney's going to play just because they run a lot of 2 tight end sets, so he'll get run too. But Palmer, Carter, Bandy.
Well, isn't Carter like questionable too?
He is. I think he plays. He's got an illness, but they just down so many bodies. I feel like they make him play, or they want him to play. What'd you say, Bob?
How heavy are you going to play Palmer and MME?
I'm going to be way overweight.
Okay, no, that's good. Your conviction works for me. I'll fall. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
I was skeptical. I can't get him right.
But this Bandy kid played 59% of the snaps in week 7, and that was so Palmer didn't play, but Keenan Allen played 32% of the snaps. Mike Will played 76, and DeAndre Carter played 94. So that kid's going to get run. Like some pretty solid run, I think. And then that Jason Moore will be the 4th guy. But yeah, I think it's a good stack. It's so cheap too. It's very affordable. That's the way to go. I mean, I don't know. Any receivers you guys see that I'm missing here, like top guys?
I like that you hit on Mooney. I think Mooney's going to come around.
None of us has talked about Cooper Kupp.
I just hate that game. I'm fading that whole game. I don't like that game.
He's torched that team in the past for what it's worth. 8,900 is down from 9,600.
Think about it though. So like Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, D-Hop. I think they're all better plays, honestly.
Yeah, I get it.
I think they're all in better game environments. Like
they all have like similar ceilings for like 500 less, a couple hundred less. So I don't know.
It's crazy that we I can't even trust. Like Matthew Stafford has come so low. Like that offense is so bad.
It's the O-line, dude. Like they're just they have no time.
But that's a part of the game. Like the O-line is a part of the game, right? Like that's why Brady struggled. Let's be honest. Like Brady has struggled a lot because of the O-line. Like
speaking of Brady, we are not going back to Brady this week, right?
Bobby, you have gone back to Brady. You better
we have never been on Brady.
It is.
Thank you, Kirkwood. I was trying not to say it without saying it, but Yeah.
We were
It
just
has been
encouraging you to go back to him because you were pot committed. That's all.
I'm not. I can't do it. I can't do it.
All right. So what about cheap receivers? Garrett Wilson still there for 4,800 if you need it. I mean, DJ
Good
Moore is
props, Garrett Wilson.
5,800. DJ Moore for that target share is pretty nice. Who else is there? Darnell Mooney potentially if you really like that game.
McLaurin's a good run back in that Minnesota game. Or a secondary stack.
Yeah. He's had some decent weeks the last two.
Drake the Snake London.
I think he's fine too.
I just refuse to play a pass catcher from the Atlanta
Mariota
Falcons.
because of Mariota, yeah.
It's just a woe. Like Demir Bird will catch another one. I said it last week as a joke, but like he caught another one. Like it's ridiculous though. I mean, put that guy on the field more at least. He just burst, man.
I have to say, every team he's gone to, he's like somewhat performed or broken in their rotation, right? Like Arizona.
I feel like he always breaks for a long one, once every couple games, right, Bob? Like that's what he does, right?
I don't think he's I think he's all right. Like he seems to like get his touches for a guy that doesn't see the field as consistently as other players, and do a lot with them for what it's worth. So.
What about?
I will add to cheap receivers. My boy Terrace Marshall, guy got like 3 different goal line targets last week. He had 9 targets overall, 4 catches for 87 yards. I've been talking up this kid the last 2 weeks. They look like they're trying to get him the football, and I think they're going to keep trying to get him the football. Like, why not? He's young. He's got talent. He's still under 4K. Why not? We got the Bengals who are down 2 of their cornerbacks. No Hilton, no Chobi Awuzie. Those dudes are both out. Why not play a Panther here? DJ Moore's going to be chalky. Play the low-owned guy, young dude.
What about Khalif Raymond?
I think he's fine. I like Kendrick Bourne a good bit with Parker out. I think
I like Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah, that seems like Thornton is the.
You think it's Thornton?
It might not. It might be, but because it's New England and they also need a quarterback. But
it's tough to like any New England wide receiver. Yeah. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, but we just like Ramondre. Like that's
yeah.
If you're playing Rodgers, you're going back to Sammy Watkins.
Never.
You are.
I feel like
who are these you people you speak of?
No, I'm not playing Rodgers. I'm just saying Sammy Watkins at 3.
No one is playing Sammy Watkins, Bob. Nobody. We're not playing.
What's
Sammy.
the narrative?
It's Dobbs. It's if you're playing a pass catcher, it's Dobbs.
Is Christian Watson available? Is Alan Lazard available? Do we know?
Look, getting tired.
I think they're questionable.
So that's what I'm saying.
They're questionable, like Kirkwood is to finish the show. They're questionable.
I was thinking about driving to New Hampshire after this too.
Pick me up if you're going to drive to New Hampshire.
Lazard questionable.
Tonight you're going to drive to New Hampshire? It's almost.
I got to get my bets in. By the way, I gave 2 picks last week for UFC. One was an easy winner, and the other one was. I got absolutely robbed by a decision. They stole from me, and it cost me $15,000. I ended up breaking even on bets, but I would have won $15,000 if I just got the decision, and they stole it from me. So for the people that asked me for the plays and I gave them to you, we got hosed on that. We went 1-1, but we got hosed. This week, I don't really have any plays. I don't really like a lot. I got like small plays. I'll pull it up. It's if you really want them, here they are. I mean, you can play Miranda Maverick. It's mega chalk, but you can use her in parlays with any of the guys. I like Derek Minner as a live dog. I like Chase Sherman, which he's the worst fighter in the UFC. He's one of them, but I think he's going to get a win at -130.
God, and he is so bad. He's going to
but he's facing Parisian. It's the 2 worst heavyweights, like period.
Oh God.
It's going to be a sloppy slugfest. And then D-Ra, I like the 2 dogs in the main events. I don't like big, but I think that the price is too wide for Lemos. in the main event, and I think Derek Rodriguez probably wins as an underdog against Magny. I like Magny, but he's on the decline. We'll see how it turns out. But all right, where are we going? We're going over to tight end now.
Yep, tight end.
Yeah,
tight end it is. Robert Tonyan looks to be the most. So tight end is gross this week. Let's just start there. We don't have any of the big names. Oh, I want to say one thing that I did on Yahoo. So I was just, because of Jacobs, I was just like the tiny bit behind of the cash and everybody, and we were all left with George Kittle. And so I pulled a swap and went to Tyler Higbee to try to beat him. I just needed to make up like a point. And did you see him drop that touchdown that he had would have been a 40-yard walk-in, and he just dropped it?
That's like a Higbee move, though, I feel like.
Yeah, he's got hands of stone.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But he's the cheapest he's ever been this season, in a good matchup in a decent game. So he's in play at 3,700. Tonyan, just because the game environment, at 3,800. Gerald Everett is awesome, but 4,800 if that's tough to do. But I'm not playing Josh. I know like the cash build everyone's talking about with Josh Allen, but I'm not playing Josh Allen in my GPPs this week. I'm just gonna. I mean, if I'm going even high, the highest I'm going is Kyler. But Gerald Everett for sure. He's probably my favorite play. Man, I wish I was on the Conklin.
How did we miss the Conklin situation? Because he kills the Patriots, and not one of us mentioned him.
Yeah, that's on me. Hand up. It's on me, fellas. My bad. I missed that one, and it cost me dearly.
Did you? Why you actually would? You think you would have gone there? I would have if I was told.
I don't give a crap who I play at tight end, except for this week. Who's the cheap? Who's the backup for on Detroit? Who's going to Brock Wright? Somebody tell me about Brock Wright.
I heard. I don't know. I don't want to play Brock Wright if I don't have to. He was chalk like 1 week.
I think that Mitchell kid's going to get some run too. The other
Waller,
kid,
Waller might be out
Mitchell.
again. Waller might be out again. So Foster Moreau could be in play.
What's Moreau's price now?
Who cares? Like Hayden Hurst, he looked good. Towards the end of the game with Burrow. I mean, he looked good. He didn't get enough action, but he caught all his targets. I think. Yeah, he was 4 for 4, 42 yards. Evan Ingram is going to have some ownership. I don't know. I don't really care who. I don't have a real strong take this week.
I think Evan Ingram's fine for sure against the Raiders. I like Gerald Everett though.
He's my favorite. Gerald Everett's my favorite play if I can get to him. And I'll say this: Zach Ertz. The matchup is there, and I like Kyler, so I might do a double with him and some, just because Seattle is.
I talked about him a little bit though. His target shares went down since the came back. It's gone to 5 the last 2 games. He's affecting his targets
for sure. He's dusty, but it would just all be about the matchup too. Seattle most DK fantasy points per game to the tight end, but I'm with you. Gerald Everett is my clear number 1 with everybody out. And then I don't. I mean, did you hear us talk about Higbee? It's just Higbee dropped what would have been like.
I hate Higbee. I hate those. I hate Zach Ertz, Tyler. Those guys that can't move after the catch drive me insane. I can't play those.
It's got stone.
Unless
hands.
they're super cheap. They need to be super cheap. 3,500 or less.
Well, Higbee's 3,700.
Oh. That's too much. I said 35. I said 35, and I'm sticking by it.
You're strict.
I'm strict. I could play Evan Ingram for 3,300. I'm not playing.
Evan Ingram might be the chalk
37.
All right. Who cares about it? Maybe Cole Kmet.
I'm third on the Everett train. I like Everett. I think he's the best play. Are we playing
Gerald Everett?
You want to finish tight end? Bobby, do you want to finish tight end, or do you want to take us right away to the defensive segment?
I don't know. What do you guys think about Pitts? Definitely not. I don't play Pitts, so I'm just waiting for a week to play him. So I'm still waiting.
I can't.
He crushed last week. He would have been great if I had him last week.
I can't do it with Kyle Pitts. I don't think anyway. I'm gonna like that game though. Maybe I should just keep him in my pool.
I think I like Pitts a little bit. My favorite's Everett, though. All right.
Yeah, my favorite's definitely Everett.
Jesse, you can go first. I'll give you the honors this week.
Oh yeah,
wow, his own segment. His own segment.
I had to do it.
I want the people to know that I didn't want this. All right, Bobby literally just handed me his.
He just waved the white flag. He waved the white flag.
He just said, "JSU, you own me." I concede. I concede to you. All right, and your greatness when it comes to defensive takes. So I have to give a great defensive take. Let me scour this board here. Got to find a winner for the people. All right. Oh, defenses are the Patriots are $4,100. Holy!
I'll give one. I'm ready.
Oh, all right, yeah, give one because I'm in shell
Panthers
shock
versus
right
the chalk Cincinnati Bengals, 2,300.
I love that. Yeah, I'm riding with Bobby on this.
With a bad offensive line, yeah.
Yep.
I think the Panthers have a chance to win this game.
I like the Panthers.
I bet them. I don't care. Like I bet them. I don't like the Bengals the way they are right now. So Panthers. That's an easy pull right there. They're not going to be popular, Bob. 2,300 Panthers.
No, I don't think they're going to be popular.
Wow. Okay, I'm on board.
Oh wait, they might be popular. Yeah, they're going to be a little popular.
So
yeah, they're going to be popular. We have to pick them up.
I think two other ones: Arizona against Seattle. I think Seattle will have some ownership. Arizona at home. I think their defense, like in spots, they've looked decent, and they had a good game against Seattle last time.
They were in my lineup. They were they were part of the 2v2 in that lineup. So that I had Arizona over the Washington last week.
Wait a minute.
Remember I touted Arizona on the shows. Remember?
Was it the first lineup that they were in?
No, they were in the second one. The one
that's why I might have went the second because I had Wandale and Arizona I liked, and you had Irv Smith and the other one I liked, but I just didn't. I don't know.
And the other defense outside, so those three defenses and the Bucks, just because the Rams have looked terrible on.
The Bucks are the chalk.
Oh, they are.
Why are
you said the Panthers were the chalk?
The Bucks and Panthers.
Why don't we just go back to Washington?
Because I love Minnesota. I think Minnesota drops the hammer.
Yeah, with Kirk Cousins though, Kirk Cousins dropping hammers.
With Justin Jefferson dropping the hammer, buddy. No, you don't like it.
No, I like the Arizona. I liked all the Arizona Bucks. Yeah,
I want to play the Jets.
Patriots at 4K.
I have this.
Should I play the Patriots?
I would never play 4K for a defense.
I have this feeling that the Bills suck this week against the Jets, and I'm staring at the Jets at 2K down there.
I think you can make a case to play the Jets at 2K regardless of they're 2K. Defense isn't terrible, like they've been good. So,
all right, that was a great defensive segment. So let's now close it out with our favorite stats.
Oh, we ended with fucking Jets at 2K over the Bills.
The Jags. The Jags are a nice price there at home against the Raiders if the Raiders stink again.
Honestly, I do like though that there's no defense that just like clearly sticks out. Like you said, the Bucs are going to be popular, but like they didn't like clearly stick out. I was just trying to go after Matthew Stafford, but like they're going to be popular. I mean, I can easily go somewhere else. Like, I don't see a spot where I'm like, oh, I need to have this defense against this team, right?
No, I don't see that spot either.
Nope.
I don't know. People like the Panthers. I was hoping they'd be lower on.
That's all right, Bob. They're 2,300.
I'll start off the favorite stacks. I'm playing Kyler. I'm playing D-Hop. Those two, and then I'm probably bringing it back with Lockett just because he's kind of cheap there at 6,100. Although I'm a little bit worried about his. He's off the injury report, so I'm expecting him to be fine. A little bit worried about. I think this game environment's going to be like the game that I wanted it to be. when they played before. This time it's in Arizona. It's not in Seattle. They didn't. D Hopkins makes this team, they're going to put more pressure on for points as opposed to the last game when they didn't, and they're just allowed Seattle to just run the ball all game. But so that's where I'm going for single entry, and that's large field singer. I'll probably play the smaller field, higher dollar stuff with that team everywhere. But what do you guys like?
JSU, you can go.
Per usual, Bobby's still thinking about who he likes. So I'm going back and forth on two guys right now. I think that I'll probably Justin Herbert makes a lot of sense just because I think it's an easy double stack. I think it's just simple. You play Josh Palmer and one of Gerald Everett or Austin Eckler, and you just ride it's just an easy double stack. But the guy I'll go with for this segment, I think Justin Fields and Darnell Mooney finally connect for some big plays and touchdowns, and I think he's a good play. He's 5,300, which is a cheap price. He gets Miami, who I trust their offense, and I think they're scoring in this game. So, give me Justin Fields and then run it back with Tyreek or Waddle. Just boom, simple.
Yeah, give me the other side. I'll take Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, and you can run back if you want with a Mooney. You don't have to run back. Obviously, it's the Bears, but Tua, I'm gonna have probably be overweight on Miami.
And there we have it.
The side that just shipped last week, Bob.
He's taking my sloppy seconds right there.
They've shipped 5 weeks. They've shipped 5 weeks out of the 8. I'm pretty positive. So
probably. I don't know if Tua has shipped 5 weeks out of the 8, but Tyreek or Waddle probably have.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was lazy. It's late, guys. It's late.
All right.
I just like calling you out.
Death taxes and this show going at least an hour and 15 minutes every week. We did it.
This was quick relative to other weeks.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys didn't fight for the first 10 minutes, I mean, we would have been done. It would have been almost an hour if you guys.
We weren't fighting. It was good back and forth banter for content.
Yeah, it was heckling. You guys were two bitter old dads just going at each other.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, shut up, Shorty. All right.
Hey, none of that short shaming here.
You got another short guy. You just made another short guy short shame. All right. So this has been the RG DFS Tournament Takes podcast. Leave a comment down below. Hit us up on Twitter at Bobby Gomes DFS, at JSU Rab, at Kirk D's, and we'll catch you again next week. Thanks.